Hello everybody, welcome to Indigo Tarot Odyssey. How is everybody? Oh, I love these cards. I feel like they're so soft and dreamy. And what I'm going to do is pull a backup oracle card just to see any other direction this inquiry might want to take, especially with deep knowing, because with that it's like deep knowing of what. And for me, it's knowing yourself, your direction, who I am, and what my needs and wants are, as opposed to like having them be muddled up with somebody else's, a family member, a spouse, something of that. It makes us ask those questions like, am I judging myself through somebody else's eyes? Am I conforming to some kind of social standard? Am I reliving my past, or am I present? All those triggers. Am I looking for validation from the outside? And a big question and deep knowing, is this happening or am I imagining it? You know what I mean? Like sometimes if we have a preconceived notion and perspective that something is going to go a particular way, we can actually think that's what's happening. That's why we need to be ever present and say, oh, this actually isn't detrimental or problematic. It's just something that's happening outside of me with other people. Like it's one of those things we don't need to pull ourselves in, because deep knowing is a direction, a purpose. And oh my gosh, look at the next card on this. Perfect for it. Destiny. We're all destined for certain things in our life, right? We know this, and sometimes we can have a feeling we have a deep knowing. I know that this is one of the things that I will be doing for the rest of my years, and growing and developing new skills and insights and going to places that are beautiful and meditative and will help me in my understandings of things to be more centered and grounded. Like I've really noticed over just the last few days, pulling myself back into present moment and being super calm because of that. It's like there's nothing to fear in the present moment. When we're there, we're fine, and we're usually in flow. It's so wonderful. And I read this thing this morning. I thought this is very true. It says, if you don't know what to do, then stop doing everything. Like stop moving in all these different directions. Water is clear when it's calm. So suspend all your effort on all these different levels and reaching out and texting, and allow yourself to become still. Then you will know what you need to do, because complete inaction reveals the way to creative action. And I'll do that when I sit down in front. I'll pull out my beads and I'll lay them out. I don't just commence. I just sit there and I have everything be still and calm. And then a direction or a design comes to me through the calm. And I love that. And I feel like you'll know that too, that to have deep knowing and to kind of tap into that, we need calmness for that, right? But we're so used to and conditioned to be ever busy, ever productive, ever moving. And just slow it all down and allow yourself time to just be, still, calm, inactive, meditative, whatever it is. I really try to do this for myself before I get out of bed. I like to go make a cup of coffee, jump back in bed, and just sit there for a moment and kind of mentally prepare for my day and be like, what would be fun? Like what would be creative? What would be wonderful to do? That sort of thing. Not just get up and start doing dishes and mopping floors and, raking lawns. Like I allow myself to settle and move in a direction that I'm excited about too. I don't want everything to just be task mongering or mundane. And that's when we come to intention, setting the intention. Oh, I love this. I love this for intention. And if we set the intention to heal ourselves and others, what that means is we take a look at what might be blocking us, what might be problematic, what might keep having recurring issues in our life. And once and for all, just look it in the eye and have healing. This also might be very true for some of you that you have. It could feel like, it's funny, I have these little twinges in my joints. You could have joint pain, ankle pain, like hip pain, arthritic, things like that. In order for healing to take place, we really have to slow down and look at what is happening with our bodies. I had to do this a little while back when I was having like real stiffness when I got up, or when I was walking. I would get weird things like in my calves, almost like I pulled a muscle or something. Then I would take a look at, what facilitates that? What is the deal with that? Whether it was more magnesium or whatever, and then implement those supplements in your diet, things of that nature. But also this has to do with healing rifts within your family or relationships. We may think we're separate then or other than, but if we want to be part of a unique, loving group, healing may need to take place. We may have to have some honest conversations, but also we can be gentle and diplomatic about it. We don't have to be like, you do this or you're always this. We can just say, I tend to feel a certain way when you behave this way, or you say this to me, it makes me feel like this. And I get defensive and I shut down when I hear this from you because, and always keep your voice, really mellow and calm, because I find when voices get raised, people's natural defenses go up and they stop listening and they get defensive and their voice gets raised. Hostility is usually met with hostility when gentleness and healing is met with the same of that. So what's your intention also for this week? Just say that to yourself. What's my intention? Do I want to get, tidy up and organized? Do I want to get some things ready for Halloween? What is my intention? And then by just knowing that that's your intention, you watch how awesome your consciousness will create ways for you to manifest whatever you need to get to that store, to set up that thing. Lots of times I'll do that. I'll have a visual in my head and go, this would be the ideal. And then it comes about because it's like your inner workings just have negotiations. Hey, you're going by this. Why don't you pick up that? And then things just start to happen, evolve, take place, and then you get it done. So set your intention, say it out loud. I intend to, set up the yard for Halloween this week. And then, in your downtime when you're nice and still, your gorgeous mind will concoct all these wonderful strategies to get everything done for that. And also in terms of healing for yourself and other, it's really important we take a look at our mental state, our physical state, our spiritual state, because at different times, different areas need healing, which brings us to resolve. Are you resolved that this is important? And do you have resolve to have some kind of focus and follow through? And remember, you're not in a race. You're on a path winding through the woods. You're not ahead or behind of anyone. You're taking your own unique journey and exploring and learning, what's out there for you. But resolve also says that I'm not going to let other people interfere in my journey, or I'm not going to supersede what I think to be true with somebody else just because it's the power of suggestion. If something seems questionable, I'm going to go and I'm going to read up on it and I'm going to find out the details and facts. I'm not going to take anything, at just someone's opinion. So quick sip of water. I love the word resolve too. It strangely convinces me when I say to myself, I'm resolved to do this. I end up doing it because it's like I make a pact with myself. And I'm saying it's important enough for me to notice, voice it, and want it. Therefore, I'm resolved to do it. It's like our deep knowing is we need to set an intention towards us because it's going to help us. It's going to help heal us. It's going to help, bring things about that are important. And oftentimes, it has to do with exactly this. I love this card. Our perception. What is your perception of yourself, of your environment, of your job, of the world in general? I like that. I'll ask myself that when I work. What's my perception of this person, place, or thing? And do I think it's an honest perception, or do I feel like it's skewed due to, it could be anything, trauma? Have you ever had an interaction with somebody the first time? It's funny about first impressions, it just rubs you the wrong way, and you kind of set that in marble. Oh, this person is this way because they did this or did that. And I used to be like that when I was younger. I was kind of like, oh yeah, they're this because they said, did, and behaved this way. But then I realized, again, through healing and deep knowing, that in an instant, anybody can be in some sort of mood or be persuaded, or something could be wrong. They could have just had a really trying time getting to this event or whatever. So again, to say, take more time to form an opinion of a person, place, or thing, because sometimes our perception, also due to our moods, can be a little bit warped. So what is your perception of your life right now as you look at it? If you were to scale it, say on a scale of fulfillment and feeling content on 1 to 10, where would you name that? And where do you think the voids are that would bring it up to a 10? For a lot of people, I feel like it's feeling like they have too much to do, accomplish, or they have to produce in order to feel content. You know what I mean? I feel like in this day and age, it's getting better. It's not like the 80s craziness that it was. I feel like it's less materialistic. I feel like it's less focus driven. I feel like more people are aware, and there's a higher set of consciousness where people really admire and like people just for who they are, their energy they provide, as opposed to anything else, what they do, or leveling them at a higher level of accomplishment because they are, say, a doctor or a scientist, as opposed to just a lovely human. You know what I mean? That sort of thing. I feel like perceptions are switching and changing too. And, things like it's important to preserve our water and the earth, and our peace of mind. People are really starting to understand just through quiet moments, meditative or not. And it's not so much about being part of all the time and being in that rush and that fear of missing out. It is that contentment of just being and feeling good with who you are, where you are. And I love that. Outside does that for me 1,000%. When I'm doing reads, that definitely anything creative. So I fill my time with the things that give me that sense of contentment and bliss and light. And, you know, when we have a perception that life is expansive, that it's going to bring us everything that we need, that when we're protected and guided and looked after and loved and part of something bigger, it's a nice perception to have, because then we wake up and we think, yay, what are we going to see and feel and experience today, as opposed to anything fearful or feeling left out or outside of, right? And it's very easy to change our perception. Lots of times what I will do is I will just watch something that's really uplifting. You know, it can be silly with a bunch of animals, comedy, all of that. And it helps us take a look at life, how seriously, how some things are just, they're just overboard. Like the other day this site just showed up because I pressed on this thing, and it was like all these people that had like lip fillers that just went a little too far, and it looked crazy and kind of comical. And it was weird because I was looking at the comments and other people that were kind of like in the genre, those are fabulous, all this stuff. And I was going, well, that's the perception, you know, when we're in that area of whatever and we think we need more, bigger, better. It's like, it seems like enough is never enough. When we are content and we're like in a beautiful, restful, natural state, we really think we have everything we need. And the perception is true. We do have everything that we need. And every day we can change and we can maneuver, and we can get rid of or bring on board other people, places, and things that are necessary for that stage of growth, because everything is really expansive now. And if you have a resolve to change and grow and feel good about your life, all of these things show up for you. And that deep knowing is, all the good stuff is coming for you. All the good stuff that you've been waiting for, the love, the contentment, feeling really good in what you produce for the world, unconditional love, because that's important too. And, you know, just a deep sense of knowing that everything is okay. It really is. When we allow it to be, you know, and that's the thing about perception. We have to reel it in when it gets out of hand and it gets lower vibrational back into high vibration. That, hey, it's okay. I can slow down and stop and ask myself what steps I want to take next to feel good again and to feel centered and feel ready. So my beauties, that is what you are meant to hear today. I hope you guys all have a great day. Love and light.